This isn't about morality or preaching. This is about unveiling a truth that's been deliberately hidden from you. What I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about alcohol and its impact on your spiritual essence. By the end of this revelation, you'll understand why ancient masters called it the body-eating spirit, and why every sip creates invisible wounds in your energy field that most people never even realize exist. You've been conditioned to see alcohol as harmless social lubricant, liquid courage, or weekend escape. But that's exactly what they want you to believe. The real story runs deeper than your bloodstream, deeper than your liver, deeper than your conscious mind. We're talking about warfare on your soul itself, and you don't even know you're under attack. Today we're diving into the spiritual battlefield, where alcohol wages war against your higher self. This isn't theory or philosophy. This is ancient wisdom backed by energetic reality, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. Stay with me, because what comes next will change how you view every drink, every toast, every moment you've ever touched this substance. The word itself holds the secret. Al-Kuhul. Most people think it's just Arabic for alcohol, but they're missing the deadly truth hidden in plain sight. In its original form, this term meant something far more sinister than a simple beverage. The ancient Arabs knew something we've forgotten, something that's been systematically erased from our understanding. Al-Kuhul originally referred to the finest powder, so fine it could penetrate anything. But here's where it gets dangerous. The alchemists who studied this substance understood its true nature. They weren't just creating drinks, they were working with what they called a body-eating spirit, an essence that could separate the soul from matter itself. Think about that. The very word we use casually today originally meant a force that consumes the physical vessel and extracts the spirit. This wasn't accidental naming. The ancient masters who worked with distillation processes understood they were dealing with something that operated on multiple levels of reality. When they refined alcohol through distillation, they were isolating what they believed to be a spiritual essence, but one that carried profound dangers. They called alcoholic beverages spirits for a reason that goes far beyond simple terminology. The Sumerians knew this. The Egyptians understood it. The Greeks warned about it. These weren't primitive people making up stories. They were advanced civilizations that recognized alcohol's power to bridge the physical and spiritual realms. But they also knew this bridge could become a gateway for forces you don't want in your life. In ancient Mesopotamia, they offered wine to gods in rituals, but always with extreme caution and specific protections. The Egyptians linked wine to Osiris, the god of death and rebirth, understanding that alcohol carried the power of dissolution. The Greeks gave us Dionysus, the god of divine madness, recognizing that this substance could unlock ecstasy, but also unleash chaos. Even the Muslim alchemists who developed our modern distillation techniques understood they were working with dangerous forces. Jabir ibn Hayyan, the father of modern chemistry, documented these processes not as simple recipes, but as spiritual practices requiring wisdom, protection, and respect for the energies involved. But here's what they all knew that we've forgotten. Alcohol doesn't just affect your body, it tears holes in your energy field. It creates vulnerabilities in your spiritual defenses. It opens doorways that should remain closed. Your energy field, what mystics call your aura, is your first line of defense against negative influences. It's the invisible shield that protects your consciousness from parasitic energies, thought forms, and entities that feed on human weakness. When you drink alcohol, you're not just getting tipsy, you're creating ruptures in this protective barrier. Rudolf Steiner, one of the most advanced spiritual researchers of the modern era, documented exactly how this works. Alcohol weakens what he called the spiritual self, creating openings for destructive forces to influence your psyche. These aren't metaphors or symbolic teachings. He was describing actual energetic phenomena that occur when alcohol enters your system. Think about how you feel after drinking. Sure, there's the physical hangover, but there's something else, isn't there? A spiritual emptiness, a disconnection from your higher self, a sense that something essential has been drained from you. That's not imagination. That's the energetic damage alcohol creates in your subtle body. The impact on your chakras is devastating. Alcohol overstimulates your root chakra, the energy center connected to base survival instincts and material desires. At the same time, it weakens your crown chakra, the connection point to divine consciousness and higher wisdom. This creates a dangerous imbalance where you become trapped in lower vibrational states while losing access to spiritual guidance. Paramahansa Yogananda, one of the greatest spiritual masters of the 20th century, stated clearly that alcohol obscures the light of the spirit. He wasn't being poetic. He was describing the literal dimming of your inner radiance that occurs when this substance enters your system. The clarity needed for true spiritual realization becomes clouded, sometimes for days or weeks after consumption. Modern neuroscience confirms what ancient masters knew intuitively. Alcohol reduces activity in your frontal lobes, the brain regions responsible for conscious decision-making and spiritual introspection. But the energetic impact goes far deeper than what brain scans can measure. You're literally disconnecting from your higher faculties, the parts of your consciousness that can access wisdom, intuition, and divine guidance. Here's where it gets even more dangerous. When groups of people drink together, their damaged energy fields create a collective vulnerability. The vibration of the entire space drops, becoming dense and chaotic. Behavior becomes more primal, more disconnected from spiritual awareness. This is why spiritual traditions warn against environments where alcohol flows freely. It's not moral judgment, it's energetic protection. But there's something else happening that most people never consider. In this weakened state, you become attractive to what spiritual traditions call obsessing spirits or astral larvae. These are energetic parasites that feed on the low vibrations created by addiction and spiritual disconnection. They attach to people whose energy fields have been compromised, creating cycles of craving and dependence that go far beyond physical addiction. The ancient shamans understood this perfectly. They knew that alcohol weakens what they called the light body, your energetic protection system. Many shamanic traditions completely avoid alcohol because they recognize it as a doorway for negative entities that can influence thoughts, emotions, and behavior. This isn't superstition. This is spiritual warfare, and alcohol is one of the most effective weapons being used against human consciousness. Every time you drink, you're volunteering to lower your defenses, to disconnect from your spiritual guidance, to become vulnerable to influences that don't have your best interests at heart. The tragic irony is that most people turn to alcohol seeking connection, joy, or spiritual experience. But alcohol delivers the exact opposite. It creates disconnection, false euphoria, and spiritual emptiness. It promises transcendence, but delivers imprisonment. It offers freedom, but creates bondage. The masters who understood alcohol's true nature weren't trying to control or limit human experience. They were trying to protect human consciousness from a force that systematically degrades spiritual awareness. They knew that true transcendence, real joy, and authentic spiritual connection come from within, not from external substances that weaken your connection to your divine essence. This is just the beginning. What we've uncovered about alcohol's spiritual impact is only the surface layer of a much deeper truth. The veil of illusion that keeps humanity trapped in cycles of spiritual disconnection runs far deeper than most people imagine, and alcohol is just one of the tools being used to maintain this imprisonment. In the next part, we'll explore the psychological mechanisms that make alcohol so irresistibly attractive, the false promises that keep people returning to this spiritual poison, and the hidden forces that profit from keeping human consciousness in a weakened state. We'll also begin to reveal the path toward true liberation, the ancient practices that can repair the energetic damage, and the real source of the transcendence that alcohol falsely promises to deliver. The question isn't whether you can handle the truth about alcohol's spiritual consequences. The question is whether you're ready to reclaim the spiritual power that's been systematically stolen from you, one drink at a time.